What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Griffin here, back for another early morning round at Hawthorne Hills. This time we've got the back nine, though. Starting out on the par 410, little slip, like we seem to have every time. But I piped that one down the middle of the fairway. Really happy with where it ended up. Now we've got, 140 yards. And that is bladed way long. So now we've got a tricky up and down from long of the green. And I tried to bump this into the hill and it just got caught up, leaving what is way longer of a par putt than I would have liked from being in the middle of the fairway on my second shot. Been leaving these putts short. It's early in the season. We'll find our speed and the greens will get a little bit better, but that's a little bit longer than I would have liked to have for bogey. So step up over this one, got to give it a chance, and didn't even hit the cup. Tough start. All right, so double bogey on the first hole is not the way that I expected to go, especially after being in the middle of the fairway. But I said to myself, let's stay in it. Let's see what happens. I think that's a little bit of a mentality change I've had in the past, and one that I think, if I want to improve, I'm going to need to have. So I said, let's see what the next tee shot looks like. Let's see what the next hole or couple of holes look like. And if we're still at 2 over, we've got a chance. Maybe there are a couple birdies out there. So par 5, 11th hole now, second on the day. I caught this one good. The driver was feeling really good to start today. This is a long hole, really tough to get there in 2. It's a warm day, so the ball was flying just fine and a little off balance here on this 3-iron out of the middle of the fairway. I wanted to get up close to the green, knowing that I couldn't get there. I wasn't super concerned where I ended up. But this little low pitch shot from about 45 yards ends up slightly long of the pin, but a really reasonable chance at birdie here. I'm happy with this distance to the hole. I kind of thought I had, you can tell by my reaction, I was thinking that it wasn't going to turn like it did there at the end, but a par. All right, we're back in it here a little bit. Drivable par 4 12th hole. It doesn't require a driver, but I was feeling good off the tee and I thought, let's give it a chance. And, you'll see where we end up here. I'm not that far away and I had a good number. I think if it's a little bit more online, we might be putting for eagle here. But this is a little chip shot that if I landed it maybe a yard further, I think it would have been really good. But I left myself with about 12 to 15 feet here for birdie. Again, it's a birdie putt. I'll take it. And I thought it was going to go left. I didn't give it a chance really, but maybe expected a little bit better. Onto the long par 3 13th hole. I've got 4-iron. It was only 215 yards. The pin was in the front today. I think I just caught it a little heavy. I struck it well. It was flying good, but ended up being shorter than I would have expected. And this chip shot again, these bump and runs are just failing me right now. I need to go practice and hone these in because I got to be able to get this in to a little bit more of a makeable distance for par. Just burn the edge there. So we'll take a bogey and move to 3 over. Par 4, 14th. The drive called for here is up the left-hand side, just inside that big pine tree. If you hit it hard enough down the left-hand side, it will go down a large hill. We're at the base of it right now. And just before we were about to play our approach shots, we had a change of pin location. You love to see it. So we now have about 88 yards in where we maybe had 108, 110 before. I thought this was all over it. Felt good. Solid contact. It just ended up a little bit long. But that's all right. It's a birdie putt. It's a slippery one down the hill. I hit this one maybe slightly harder than needed. I
I thought it looked pretty good, but as you can see, it kind of takes off a little bit past the hole there. These par putts make me nervous. Um, these are the ones that I need to make to maintain good scores. And I'll be honest, I'm definitely thinking hard about these as I stand over them. It's definitely an area for improvement that I need to make this year. And hey, that's a good confidence booster. Reachable par 5 15th hole. This driver got away from me just a little bit. I intended it to be one that ended up, maybe going over that tree, but in the end, we found ourselves in the middle of the fairway, which again is totally reasonable, but not quite reachable. So I've got 2-iron here, and I absolutely striped this one. Felt really good about the swing. I couldn't really get to the pin because of where it was tucked, but left myself on the front with a chance to chip up for birdie. And that's what we've got here. Another bump and run attempt, 8-iron this time, and this is thin, but it ends up working out really well. You'll see here, even keeping the bag on to tap this one in for birdie. So feeling great, and moving on to a hole that I feel pretty comfortable with. Here's Mater for birdie. Oh, you hate to see it.
All right, so here we are on the 16th tee. It's a 400-yard par 4, and I have a decision to make. I've been hitting driver pretty well, but last year and even before that, 2-iron is definitely the play here. It's safe. It gives me a mid-iron into the green, but I just came off a birdie. I'm feeling really good. Maybe I can push a little bit and take 2 under down to 1 under, or at minimum give myself another chance. So I'm debating here between driver and 2-iron, and ultimately I decide on driver. And you can see what happens next.
So like I was saying, I had a decision here and ended up choosing driver. And you'll see where I end up. Hindsight's 2020, but yeah, I'm definitely feeling regret here. I end up thinking, maybe if I hook it, it'll be good, but I can't play a long enough club to really wrap it around these trees. So yeah, kind of disappointed, but end up in a little collection area over here, which is totally playable, and just a bad bounce. You can see my disappointment there. I thought that was really good just to kind of run out there. But in the end, I've got 25 or so feet, and I'm really up against it here if I want to make a par. Just really not the way you want to come off a birdie and the momentum associated with that.
So now we're on 17T. After what can only be described as a mental error off the tee on 16, I need to recollect myself, hit a good shot, and see if we can put ourselves in a good position. The pin is right in the middle of the green, and the green slopes from back to front. So I've got a really good opportunity if I leave the ball below the hole at a chance at birdie. Now, the wind's behind us at 160 yards. 8-iron's probably a little bit much, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking I typically don't get it to this green. So I'll hit a little bit of a knockdown and see what happens.
Oh, I struck this one good. I thought it was all over it. And when it landed, you can see disappointment. Motor Club down here to 9-iron, and he caught his really good too, but also ended up over. So here's a little chip shot, bump and run. Got to keep it under the tree. Just, I mean, you can't predict that bounce, and I've kind of had enough of that with the chips. So now I've got 25 feet for par. not a bad leg putt. I'll take the bogey. Onto the par 4 18th, what I think is the hardest hole on the course. It's long, 449 yards. You've got to take it over that bunker if you really want to have a chance at attacking the pin. I didn't. Found myself straight, but in the fairway, a 7-iron in hand. And, I just played this too far right, expecting it to come back.
All right, so here's the last moment I wanted to talk through a little bit more in depth. We're greenside on the 18th hole. A hard hole, for sure. Not impossible, but arguably the most challenging on the course. I've got 25 yards to get up and down to shoot 40. I don't want to shoot 40, but I definitely don't want to shoot 41 for whatever reason. That just feels way worse than 40, not just a stroke. This distance and this type of shot where I've got to fly it and land it close to the pin is one that I'm super uncomfortable with. I did have a little bit of confidence, though, after a lesson with Andy Fish at Forged Golf in Mequon, where he taught me a couple of tricks to hit this type of shot. So I tried to recall those, from the practice that I had with him and a couple of other attempts at it that didn't go as well. And you can see what happens.
I can't really hit this any better. It's a great way for me to sort of finish this round, and I feel a lot better about the round, even though it's a 40 and it's not really where I want to be at. But to make a tap in par on 18, I'm really happy with that. If you like this content, if you want to see a little bit more FaceTime and explanations of each shot, feel free to leave a comment. We appreciate it, and every subscribe and like too.